Continuing from the previous episode 2480. Wang Buzz. The four stone statues woke up in an instant, and there was some kind of terrifying power in their ancient eyes. They all looked at Xiao Yan together, as if mocking Xiao Yan's self-control. It's just that even Xiao Yan didn't notice that although the stone statue is made up of whole stones, there is a very faint black pattern surging in its throat. Xiao Yan's eyes flickered. He didn't know why the four stone statues were activated in advance. He couldn't think about it. The power of reincarnation in the body was surging in the meridians and limbs like a flood, and even the power of the soul and the power of the spirit were erupting together. The stones around the four stone statues are sturdy, but their single strength is not strong, but after joining forces, it seems that there is some kind of strange force that threatens Xiao Yan's life, and that kind of force makes Xiao Yan have to take it seriously. Die. Xiao Yan's figure was reflected in the eyes of the stone statue. Immediately, light flickered in his hands, and some swords and crossbow shields shimmering with faint black lights appeared out of thin air. Above the weapons, there is a faint black light that appears, and that kind of power is extremely illusory. If it weren't for Xiao Yan's soul power and holy flame, I'm afraid it would not have been discovered. What's the matter? Yueru was also a little bit devastated by this sudden scene. Looking at Xiao Yan, who was trapped on the round platform, she hurriedly spoke up. Someone. Yun Yunde's eyes wrinkled, a holy flame flower emerged around her body, and she quietly exited the hall, as if she was going to grab some strange figure. Boom! The four stone statues just woke up and launched a monstrous offensive against Xiao Yan. Majestic power rippling from the iron-like body around the body, with the weapons in their hands, without any moment of twisting and pausing, they carried one after another fierce energy wave attack. When he came out, that terrifying attack force made Xiao Yan extremely embarrassed for a while. When facing the attack of the four stone statues, especially after those black lights appeared, the soul power and holy flame power in Xiao Yan's body became extremely strange. Dragon God transformation. Faced with such a strong pressure, Xiao Yan finally performed the Dragon God transformation. The cyan dragon scales poured out, covering most of Xiao Yan's body. The heavy breath rushed towards his face, and waves of water softly surrounded him, constantly resisting the attacks of the four stone statues. Bang bang bang. Facing the attack of the four stone statues, Yueru and Hel Yanu did not act rashly, because at this time Xiao Yan was trapped on the round platform and could not leave, and once they entered rashly, they would easily cause trouble to Xiao Yan. Despite the blessing of the Dragon God transformation, when facing the almost flawless attack of the four stone statues, the blue dragon scales on Xiao Yan's body flickered with dim lights, and the huge power of the dragon scales rippling out, all his attacks were neutralized. However, Xiao Yan's complexion was slightly pale, and the power of reincarnation in the body was extremely consumed. Under such an overloaded transmission force, even Xiao Yan could not bear it. You can't passively defend all the time. He has been in the defensive stage, and there is a lot of redness and pain on Xiao Yan's skin. Obviously, under such a defense, I am afraid that it will not be long before all the dragon scales on the body will be destroyed, and the eyes are filled with killing intent. Move! The next moment, Xiao Yan took a step forward, his fists released quietly, carrying a crisp dragon roar that resounded throughout the hall. His hands became claw-like, with a touch of cyan dragon claws, carrying a touch of glass-colored flame. Suddenly facing the one of the four stone statues was shot in the chest. Whoa! The extremely powerful attack actually caused the entire hall to tremble, and even the god-fixing needle in the mask gushed out and touched. Bang bang bang! The dragon claws hit the stone statue's chest without a trace, and a violent sound swept out. Suddenly, there were no scars on the chest of one of the stone statues, only layers of bronze dust fell. Even though it was attacked by Xiao Yan so terrifyingly, this stone statue did not show any signs of serious injuries. A palpitating and strange smile appeared in his eyes, and the power in his body was rendered to the limit, as if it was a bloodthirsty beast, trying to fight Xiao Yan. The flames kill for life. In the stone statue's eyes, there were bursts of suffocating cold light, and the long sword in his hand suddenly swayed, directly with a sharp wind, and slashed at Xiao Yantian, who was close at hand. Why are these guys? The area of the round table is not large, so Xiao Yan has very limited space to dodge, but at the moment of dodging, he found the black pattern on the neck of the stone statue. These stone statues are dead things. Is that the weakness? Buzz. When Xiao Yan wondered why the stone statue was able to resist his dragon claws and Sheng Yan's Xian claw, the 4 stone statues suddenly surrounded each other. Swords, spears, swords and shadows protruded together, forming a powerful imprisoning force around Xiao Yan. Black cage. In the black cage, there are thorns and black thorns all over, and when the sharp thorns and black thorns cut across the dragon scales on Xiao Yan's body, it actually gave Xiao Yan a terrifying sense of horror. In an instant, the Fenju in Xiao Yan's body was finally out of control, like a wild horse running away. Fenju's exercise route circulated along Xiao Yan's limbs, let out a low roar. In Xiao Yan's body, a majestic flame explosion sounded, and immediately a beam of 6 colored flames shot out from his body like a shooting star, and went directly to the black cage. The 6-color fire glow was strengthened by the blessing of Fenju, and it was tyrannical. As soon as it came into contact with the black cage, it burned with a crackle, burning the seemingly strange black cage to the ground. The stench wafted out. Those who are touched by this stench black gas, even some extremely solid things, are instantly swallowed by it and turned into dust. Don't breathe this breath. At this moment, Xiao Yan suddenly woke up and shouted at Yueru. Boom! Xiao Yan's eyes glowed with glazed flames, and immediately his whole body was bathed in a layer of flames. He was as fast as a ghost. He raised his palms and slapped the stone statue's throat directly with the sacred breath of holy flame. Peefed! At the throat of the 4 stone statues, a circle of black lines was instantly melted away by the sacred power of the holy flame. Quote. Without the existence of that weird black pattern, the bodies of the 4 stone statues were instantly petrified, and all the power and vitality disappeared, just like an ordinary stone statue that stayed on the round platform. The hell flame slave on the side stood there dumbfounded, looking through the dilapidated hall, as if looking at a deeper hall somewhere, with respect in his eyes, as if he was in awe of some powerful and ancient aura. Where's Yun Yun? After solving the 4 stone statues, Xiao Yan hurriedly withdrew from the round platform before he could touch the mask, and asked Yueru beside him. Immortal world artifact. I am afraid that I still need the help of the 2 women to obtain it. Bang! Before Yueru could speak, a violent energy wave suddenly appeared directly above the hall. Opening parenthesis, closing parenthesis. Continuing from the previous episode 2481. Hey, little beauty, why bother me? There are many treasures in the hall here. Instead of wasting time on me, it's better to go look for treasures. I can remember that our well water does not make river water. Above the main hall, 2 voices stood here together. A figure bathed in blood mist said strangely. You caused the movement just now, right? The powerhouses of the 6 realms are gathered here. I don't remember the existence of a number 1 person like you. Who are you? The holy flames around Yun Yun became more and more intense, and she cooperated with the flower elf on her shoulders, staring at this guy with serious eyes. Just now, he was reminded by the flower elf and discovered this guy with a very complete hidden aura, but the aura in this guy's body was unheard of, and even the holy flame burst out with a feeling of disgust. Who I am? I don't know myself. The blood fog figure sneered at himself, as if he was quite helpless about all this. When you fall into my hands, we will naturally have countless ways to force it out. Then see if you have the ability. Being so questioned by Yun Yun, the blood mist figure grinned grimly, and immediately hid his whole body strangely above the hall, as if he instantly merged into the void here. Disappeared? Looking at such a strange scene, the holy flames around Yun Yun seemed to have encountered some kind of danger, and suddenly the light became so bright that it sheltered her body. Bang! Just as Yun Yun was puzzled, a monstrous aura of violence swept through the entire hall in an instant. That kind of violent aura is countless times more tyrannical than ordinary bloodthirsty beasts, and it actually makes some figures who are not at the 2nd reincarnation level terrified. This great hall world at the bottom of Samsara Lake was cut off by the special power and the lake water. The blood mist surged, revealing the figure in it. It was a human with the appearance of a young man. He quietly opened his closed eyes. The blood-colored eyes were slightly demonic, and there was a touch of murderous aura that was extremely strong. The strangest thing was that on this guy, the huge robe was a blood-red color. When Yun Yun looked at it, an unprecedented sense of shock was born in his body. It seems that there is some kind of suffocating and terrible fluctuation on it. If you are not careful, you will become the soul of the latter. When can a guy from outside the realm step into the land of our great thousand worlds so easily? Is it true that no one in our world can't do it? In an instant, Xiao Yan's figure surged into the top of the hall, and immediately looked at the man in front of him indifferently. Hey, the great thousand world is not marked as your exclusive territory. Those who can get it. Sooner or later, we will take out this world and drive you out completely. The blood-robed boy didn't seem to be surprised by Xiao Yan's easy to see through his identity. He just looked at Xiao Yan with a somewhat surprised expression. He smelled an extremely terrifying fluctuation from Xiao Yan. Obviously, this guy's reputation is extremely famous even among the evil races outside the realm. The masters of multiple holy flames, descendants of the Xiao clan, and various identities all represent that Xiao Yan's identity and strength are well known among the evil clans outside the territory. Go! As soon as the voice fell, Xiao Yan, Yun Yun, Yu Ru, and Hell Yan slaves shot together, and the huge momentum attack instantly enveloped all the retreats of the blood-clothed boy. Judging from his appearance, it seemed that he wanted to capture him as quickly as possible. The scarlet evil spirit spread out from the body of the blood-clothed boy, surrounding him, making his aura even more gloomy and cold. Boom! 4 extremely tyrannical energy attacks immediately let go, and violently blasted towards the nearby blood-robed youth. The blood-clothed boy gritted his teeth. This powerful attack made his aura surge, but his strength was only at the 3rd level of reincarnation, so he naturally couldn't face the joint effort of the 3. It seems that we can only go to the destination first. The exposure of the center of the fairy world has already made those evil gods a little dissatisfied. If something goes wrong this time, the consequences will be disastrous. The blood-clothed boy muttered in his heart, staring at the other 4 with stubborn eyes, and the killing intent was hard to conceal. Blood Emperor Shadow. The eyes of the blood-clothed boy suddenly became hideous, and he stepped out immediately. The blood-colored robe suddenly surged with extremely evil energy fluctuations, and a powerful phantom loomed behind him. Evil god rank, fast back. Even though the thing in front of him was just a phantom, Xiao Yan could still smell a tingling fear in his scalp. Die. The huge evil phantom was surrounded by countless evil spirits, the illusory 5 fingers were tightly clenched, and a fist was slammed towards Xiao Yan and the others. A punch slammed out, as if there were countless seas of blood rolling, and the huge pressure made the faces of the 3 of them darken. Peefed. After a simple blow, the body of the blood-clothed boy disappeared instantly, and the entire hall was at peace. Are you all right? At the end of the battle, Xiao Yan hurriedly asked the 2 women beside him, but he felt a little weak for the guy just now. After all, since this guy dares to come here, I am afraid he is prepared. We're fine. It's the guy just now. Yun Yun shook her head, obviously very puzzled about the origin and purpose of the guy just now. The blood robe on that guy's body should be a kind of evil equipment belonging to the evil race from outside the territory. It can isolate some of the power of this cave dwelling before you can step into this place. Even in his body, there seems to be some power that can resonate with the power in the cave. The foreign evil clan are really a group of ghosts. Xiao Yan narrowed his eyes, feeling a little uneasy about this scene. Okay, let's go and put the divine needle in your pocket first. That thing belongs to your immortal world. I'm afraid only you know how to collect it. As soon as the voice fell, several people were returning to the main hall. Inside the dilapidated hall, Yueru held the moon god sword, Yun Yun held the Tai Chi heavenly emperor sword, and the 2 women each stood on one side of the mask, continuously delivering pure power. It seems that they are warming up the divine artifact. Once the divine artifact is warmed up, they will immediately take it into their pockets. I don't know if the so-called god-fixing needle has the terrifying energy that is said to make rules. Seeing that the 2 women's movements became more and more sharp, it was probably only a matter of time before they could collect the divine weapon. Xiao Yan couldn't help laughing. Buzzing. That is, at this moment, in the entire palace complex, a huge roar resounded through the sky. At the moment when the loud sound fell, something in Xiao Yan's body that had been hidden for a long time seemed to burst into a frenzy like never before. After careful sensing, Xiao Yan's eyes were also filled with an extremely fiery color. Because what caused the movement was a half-image of the reincarnation flame in my body. Please remember this book's first domain name. Mobile version reading website. Continuing from the previous episode 2482. What happened? Aware of such a change, Xiao Yan's heartstrings were suddenly touched. The half-picture of the reincarnation flame of the heavenly Tao is very precious. This is the legacy of the Xiao family, and it is of great importance. In an instant, before he had time to think, Xiao Yan's figure rushed into the sky above the hall in an instant. He glanced around, but saw that in the center of the palace group, a continuous wave of powerful energy was slowly exuding, several tyrannical breaths. It is rushing towards there, as if there is something there it is enough to attract everyone's treasures. The residual image must be obtained. Although it is not clear what the function of this residual picture is, Xiao Yan intuitively told Xiao Yan that this thing must have a lot to do with the reincarnation of the heavens, otherwise the great masters in the clan would not be able to take it so seriously. Moreover, Xiao Yan always felt that the Xiao clan and Tiandao Samsarayan might have some origins. Adding in the evil figures they encountered before, this trip to the cave seems not to be easy. Let's go. When Xiao Yan looked so serious, the two figures below also emerged together. They also sensed the solemn expression on Xiao Yan's cheeks, and stood quietly beside Xiao Yan, looking at the center of the palace group. One after another silhouettes rushed away at the speed of lightning, and there was a strong wind invisibly that was slightly moving. What about the divine weapon? Xiao Yan turned his head. The mask in the dilapidated hall was broken, and the artifacts inside were also missing. It's collected. Next, I'll accompany you to see how the so-called Six Paths Reincarnation Immortals exist. Go. After the three of them finished speaking, they rushed towards the center together. As for the Hell Flame Slave, it was hidden in the Holy Flame Space by Xiao Yan. For Xiao Yan, this thing was tantamount to a powerful trump card. At some point shot, enough to cause unexpected effects. The only downside is that Hellfire slaves seem to be restricted by the cave and cannot leave here. The three of them rushed directly. Although there were still many treasures in the palace complex, there was no sign of staying there. Everyone was rushing towards the center of the palace. The ancient aura was surging like a gust of dust, and the sight in front of everyone suddenly became empty, and the faint pressure of heaven and earth in the scorching aura rushed towards them, causing Xiao Yan and the others to drop their speed directly. Looking up, this is the core of the palace complex, surrounded by passages extending in all directions, and the entire hall is extremely well preserved. At this time, there were already several auras surrounding the main hall, but no one dared to approach the main entrance of the palace. Even the three strong men of Yu Hai Long Snake, Myriad Poison Ji Yu Nu and Tang Feng stood quietly in the main hall at this time. On the side, staring intently at the hall. On the other hand, this hall is the most magnificent one in the entire palace complex. Just a glance, the aura in the body becomes turbulent. Since the people have arrived, let's do it. I don't know who was the first to say a word. Suddenly, a dozen or so strong men on the scene acted together. One after another, extremely tyrannical attacks were launched in their hands, hitting directly on the ancient portal of the palace. This breath is not quite right. Xiao Yan and the others came a step late, and did not launch any attacks, but from those terrifying attacks, they could vaguely see a fiery wave of fire swept out from above the palace portal. Boom! The silver palace portal suddenly became shaky under such a fierce attack by the crowd, and the next moment, a crack sound continued to sound. Bang! A bunch of orange golden light poured out from above the broken portal without warning, and the vast aura that accompanied it went up to the sky like an earthquake, which directly caused a slight chill in the hearts of the strong present. If this extremely powerful force acts on him, I am afraid that he will be seriously injured if he does not die. Rush! The door was broken, and everyone's eyes were filled with intense excitement and greed. The main hall seemed to be the place to enter the real main hall. This is an arsenal? As soon as he entered the hall, he could see weapons glowing with dim light on the walls and even on the ground. Knives, spears, swords, armors, etc. emerge in an endless stream. Although they are all stained with a lot of dust, they still emit an astonishing cold light. These weapons are definitely not of ordinary quality. Although they are not comparable to the fairy weapons in the Great Thousand World, they have special powers. The entire hall is extremely empty. Except for the placement of the weapons, the entire hall is slightly monotonous and deadly. How is this going? Looking at the arsenal of strange soldiers and armors everywhere, Xiao Yan asked Hell Yan's slave. Although these weapons are precious, none of them acted rashly. There, That's the real treasure. Just when there was such a dead silence, a sneer appeared on the corner of Tang Feng's mouth, and then his fingers suddenly pointed to the center of the hall, a bunch of red light shields that bulged slightly. In the light shield, there are 5 weapons slowly rotating, and the light above each one is extraordinarily bright, indicating that the wave power is good. It's actually a 5-path immortal artifact? Looking at this scene, everyone's eyes became dull. Obviously, there are a total of 108 immortal artifacts in the Great Thousand World, and there are actually 5 in this place. The collection of these 6 reincarnation immortals is somewhat rich. Strange. Why did Tang Feng take the initiative to seduce him? And his goal doesn't seem to be these weapons. Xiao Yan's huge soul force has been watching Tang Feng, and among the crowd, only he is the most threatening. What is that? A hole? With the discovery of some mysterious passages hidden behind the main hall, many voices emerged at the same time. Those faint holes seem to be in some wonderful arrangement, and it is not difficult to see that they are exactly the same as the 5 fairy weapons that rotate slightly in the light shield. Only by getting these weapons can you have the opportunity to enter the main hall of the 6 Paths Samsara Immortal. The madness in Tang Feng's eyes poured out, and immediately the power of reincarnation in his body became more and more intense. Everyone's eyes were full of madness, and it was obvious that Tang Feng's words completely made the heart beat. Only by obtaining the 5 immortal artifacts can one have the opportunity to enter the main hall. Obviously, in order to capture these 5 immortal artifacts, a dozen people present will undoubtedly set off an extremely tragic battle here. Xiao Yan, we too. Yanyan looked at the scene of the sword drawn in the hall, and hurriedly said, she knew the importance of Shengen to Xiao Yan, and her heart became anxious at this time. After all, there were more than 10 people present, but no one was a fuel-efficient lamp. Tang Feng's appearance is simply bluffing, it's not quite right. Xiao Yan did not move. Instead, his eyes accompanied his soul power, exploring the palace together. When Xiao Yan raised his head, he saw a hidden star map. An endless starry night sky map emerged, hanging directly above the beam of light. Above the star map, there is endless depth, and even a strange residual map that is only half a block appears in sight. It seems that in that star map, there are only ordinary remnants hidden in it. The remaining half of the residual picture, is it here? When Xiao Yan stared at the star map, the residual map related to the reincarnation of the heavenly Tao in his body exuded an unprecedented fanatical aura. Please remember this book's first domain name. Mobile version reading website. Continuing from the previous episode 2483. Rush. Bang bang bang. In the entire hall, endless war fire energy fluctuations poured out. Obviously, the 5 keys suspended in the beam of light were related to the fairy weapons that entered the main hall, which was enough to make everyone here go crazy. What a bunch of idiots. Seeing this scene, Tang Feng smiled, and his body moved like a ghost. Some powerful treasures in his body were sacrificed, and gradually approached the top star map of the beam of light. Tang Feng's actions naturally did not arouse the attention of other powerhouses. At this time, in the spacious hall of the arsenal, vicious attacks had already followed one after another. Although the beam of light has not been completely shattered, if it is possible to expel other powerhouses before the beam of light is broken, it will undoubtedly be a better thing for the remaining powerhouses. Xiao Yan, if you don't do it, I'm afraid. Looking at the fierce confrontation on the field, Yu Rudai frowned and said hastily. Xiao Yan helped him find the needle of the god of destiny. Naturally, he didn't want to owe him anything, and he would definitely spare no effort to help Xiao Yan for the rest of the time. Xiao Yan didn't make a sound or move. Through the changes in his body and Tang Feng's actions, he was clearly weighing something. The 5 Paths immortal artifacts are protected by a sturdy and powerful beam of light. Even if everyone joins forces, it will probably take a lot of time to crack them, not to mention the time it takes for everyone to fight hard to weed out the weak. For Xiao Yan, the 5 keys that enter the main hall are undoubtedly very attractive, but that's just that. Have you seen the star map at the top of the beam of light? Keep an eye on Tang Feng for a while. Xiao Yan stared at the beam of light that remained motionless under the violent energy attack of the crowd. His eyes suddenly became extremely dignified, and his heart beat in unison. The 2 remnants of the map are undoubtedly the key to whether or not to harvest the reincarnation of the heavenly Tao, and the remnant map in the star map is the other piece left. Why? I don't want to asterisk the key to the main hall. Are you going to asterisk something that is not worth mentioning? Don't you want to fight for that holy flame? Listening to Xiao Yan's words, Yu Ru's eyes suddenly filled with a rare stubbornness, which directly contradicted Xiao Yan and asked. Since the two of them were not in a relationship, Yu Ru naturally didn't want to owe Xiao Yan anything, but Xiao Yan kept a good key and did not fight for it, and handed over Shen Yan in that way, which really made Yu Ru extremely puzzled. Believe him, Yun Yun didn't speak, but when her beautiful eyes saw the star map, some ancient aura in her body surged. That kind of inexplicable feeling, like déjà vu. To be able to let Hua Qing'er's inheritance power transmit such fluctuations, the star map definitely contains some kind of extremely precious treasure. Moreover, Yun Yun knew Xiao Yan very well. The reason why Xiao Yan would let the 5 keys not asterisk them was because there was something more precious than them. Rest assured, Xiao Yan did not open his mouth, but the soul power and spiritual power in his body surged together. With the unique power of the magician, a trace of ethereal aura slowly radiated out, surrounding the entire palace complex, as if something was being constructed. This time, no matter what, this residual image cannot be missed. What is the mystery of this star map? When Tang Feng touched the top of the beam of light, he immediately became calm and stretched out his hand lightly, but when his palm touched the star map, it seemed like it was cutting off the void, and it passed from the star map eerily. Whoa! Suddenly, before he had time to think, a touch of orange-gold firefox suddenly emerged from the star map, and immediately landed on Tang Feng unprepared. CC, the frightening aura of death with numb scalp permeated from the bottom of his heart, causing Tang Feng's body to shake violently. All the power in his body seemed to be burning frantically at this moment. After a while, he gasped in the air and threw his firefox directly above the beam of light. That kind of fluctuation is undoubtedly the holy firefox. Just such a trace of holy flame firefox almost caused Tang Feng to be seriously injured. This kind of power is really too mysterious and powerful. The attack energy raged out from the hall, but it did not cause any impact on the beam of light. The 5 immortal weapons slowly revolved above the beam of light, and the surrounding attack energy continued to flow, which was extremely terrifying. However, when Tang Feng threw that fiery fox into the beam of light, the ancient beam of light, which had always been radiant, quickly dimmed like a withered oil lamp. At that time, all the fighting powerhouses suddenly stopped their movements, and the hearts of all the powerhouses suddenly became tense, their eyes fixed on the beam of light that was slowly dimmed, and a crazy look emerged. Crack! With a bang, faint cracks appeared on the beam of light, and after a while, there was an appalling shattering sound. Bang! The beam of light suddenly shattered, turning into a curtain of light that descended from the sky, and suddenly scattered with an ancient heavy aura. Without the protection of the beam of light, the keys of the 5 paths immortal artifacts were immediately read, and they were placed naked in the high sky of the hall. Boom! At the moment when the beam of light shattered, the eyes of dozens of strong men burst out with endless greed. That is the core of entering the main hall of the 6 paths reincarnation immortal, enough to set off a real asterisk storm here. This is mine. Get out of here. The strong get it. Roaring and roaring sounds accompanied by deafening violent energy were transmitted. Go! After Xiao Yan finished speaking, the 3 figures rushed directly above the main hall with a tyrannical attitude that covered the sky and the sun, under the position of the star map. Xiao Yan, you're really an idiot if you don't asterisk the key fairy to enter the cave. The front and back were wrapped in a triangle by Xiao Yan, and the 3 of them. Tang Feng slowly loosened the corners of his clothes, as if he was hiding something. His tone and movements were extremely natural. Hand over things. Xiao Yan's eyes and soul power spread together, but he found that the star map in front of him had already become ordinary, and the remnant map in it did not know when it disappeared. Immediately, there was an extremely terrifying cold-killing intent in his eyes. I don't know what you're talking about. Tang Feng shook his head helplessly, but the corners of his eyes slowly turned, as if he was thinking about a certain escape route. Don't challenge my few patience. In Xiao Yan's chest, a glaze-colored holy flame gushed out, his eyes shrank tightly, and the huge holy flame suppressed Tang Feng like a shackle. Xiao Yan didn't act rashly, naturally, in order not to attract the attention of many powerful people below, otherwise. Bang! A gray smoke suddenly drifted out from Tang Feng's body, and Tang Feng's body immediately left the hall and fled towards the outside palace group. Xiao Yan, I'll be rude to that thing. Ha ha ha. A frenzied laughter echoed in the hall, and Tang Feng's figure immediately fled from here like lightning. Please remember this book's first domain name. Mobile version reading website. Continuing from the previous episode 2484. How to do. The smoke contained some kind of strange energy that interfered with everyone's soul power. When the smoke dissipated, Tang Feng's figure had already disappeared. Yueru and Yunyan looked at each other, and there was a deep anxiety in their eyes. In order to prevent accidents, let's stay here and *** one of the keys. Xiao Yan, go ahead. At this time, Yun also realized something, looked at the crowd in the hall who were looting, and immediately bit her teeth. Okay. Xiao Yan and the two women looked at each other, and immediately moved separately. There was a situation of looting in the hall, but Xiao Yan believed that the two women were both carrying divine weapons, so it would not be a problem to deal with this situation. Wang buzzing, Xiao Yan's figure instantly returned to nothingness, and then the void in the entire palace complex became distorted at the same time, with a touch of extremely powerful power, like the anger emanating from the wrath of the earth, and the strange power covered the entire palace complex. What kind of power is this? There is no such record in ancient books. Tang Feng looked around the world of palaces, but a huge strange force twisted the void around him. The changes in the void turned out to be the outlines of strange worlds carrying scorching heat. In the world, the cliffs spring out, and the trees are overgrown on them, which is quite a beauty of paradise. Little bastard, don't play tricks here. Get out of this seat. Tang Feng's body was surging, and he came to the top of a cliff in an instant. He looked into the distance, but he noticed that there was a powerful pressure in the void above the cliff. That is soul coercion. Hand over that residual image. Xiao Yan's voice suddenly sounded from this world, and the mighty divine aura slowly shook Tang Feng's mind. The soul power of the divine movement realm? Hearing Xiao Yan's voice, Tang Feng's expression turned ugly slightly. Before Tang Feng went to the cave, he investigated Xiao Yan's details, but the information never mentioned Xiao Yan's soul power in the immortal ascension boundary. The soul power of the immortal ascension boundary is enough to unilaterally crush Tang Feng. This sentence will also be returned to you. Hand over the burning Jew and many holy flames in your body, maybe I can keep you a whole corpse. Tang Feng's eyes were filled with a stern look, his body suddenly stood upright, and an unusually tyrannical aura came out like a flood. The powerful coercion actually caused the whole world to be violent, and there was a strange scene of lightning and thunder in the sky. The whole world is naturally a space of formation outlined by Xiao Yan's soul power and spiritual power. When the oppressive aura of Tang Feng hit, Xiao Yan, who was controlling the formation from the outside world, trembled slightly. Tang Feng's strength naturally cannot cause any coercion to Xiao Yan, but this guy is the strongest of the vassal race in the center of the human world. This time, I will definitely not be unprepared when I come here. The master of this domain dares to kill even the strong people in the center of the human world. If you kill someone from a vassal race in the center of the human world, you will also kill them. When Xiao Yan's words were over, all the cliffs in the whole world collapsed suddenly, and scenes of flames and soul power formed a chain of shackles that surrounded Tang Feng's body. Soul power and spiritual power clashed on the shackles, and countless shackles hummed and roared, echoing in the entire formation space. Unbelievable. Seeing that Xiao Yan didn't show up, Tang Feng showed a sneering look. A silver spear appeared out of thin air in his hand. He slowly stepped on the void. The tyrannical power of reincarnation permeated the silver spear. Heavenly shackles. Wang buzzing, Xiao Yan's thoughts moved, and countless energy chains, like a meteor shower, suddenly tilted towards Tang Feng. Just by this means, facing the siege of countless energy shackles, Tang Feng's voice was slightly gloomy, and a rebellious and violent aura gushed out in his eyes. Bang! The silver spear in Tang Feng's hand flickered out, directly resisting the oncoming energy shackles. The tyrannical fluctuations actually shook the entire formation space into cracks. The wrath of holy flame. All the shackles were instantly wiped out by Tang Feng, and Xiao Yan was surging. In the entire space of the formation, a color fireball with an area of up to 100 meters appeared out of thin air. There is no other decoration on the fireball. 6 flames of different colors are intertwined on it, and the entire space of the formation becomes quiet in an instant. Boom! The holy flame fireball fell like a meteorite, with a terrifying aura like a broken bamboo, and smashed it towards Tang Feng. Wherever it passed, the void hummed and trembled, as if everything had lost all color. Guru. In an instant, seeing this level of attack, Tang Feng's eyes shrank violently, and a touch of fear filled his heart. The attack that gathers the 6 kinds of holy flames is still extremely oppressive for him now, not to mention that he is still suppressed by Xiaoyan's soul force in the deep space of the formation. It's like hitting a stone with an egg. Tianxuan / Tang Feng sneered. The silver spear in his hand suddenly had the breath of life. Endless silver energy poured out, and immediately merged into a long river of space, filling in front of Tang Feng. Break it for me. In the long river of space, countless huge forces are condensed in it, and the forces of space are operated to the extreme by them, and there is a faint terrifying power to tear the space, and it suddenly swept away at the fireball. Bang! A slight rubbing sound gushed out, and amazing energy ripples rippled out from the center of the battle. The scorching destruction ripples, once touched, I'm afraid that even if you don't die, you will be seriously injured. This guy's strength should not be underestimated. It seems that he can only retreat first. The most urgent task of this trip is to obtain the reincarnation flame of the heavenly Tao. We can't waste time here after a fight. Tang Feng discovered that Xiaoyan's strength and combat effectiveness were even stronger than the rumors had suggested. Immediately, some disturbing thoughts appeared in my mind. Now that the residual map is in hand, there is no need to fight Xiaoyan to the death. After obtaining the holy flame, there are countless ways to torture Xiaoyan. Xiaoyan, I won't play with you anymore. I hope you can enter the main hall of the 6 Paths Reincarnation Immortal. This seat is one step ahead. Bang! As soon as he finished speaking, a delicate silver scroll emerged from Tang Feng's palm. Not good, a space scroll of the great immortal technique level. When the silver scroll appeared, Xiaoyan from the outside suddenly lost his voice. Crack! The scroll was lightly crushed by Tang Feng, and countless fluorescent lights flickered, covering Tang Feng's body in an instant. A slap-sized light opening suddenly opened in the space of the formation. In the blink of an eye, Tang Feng's figure disappeared without a trace. Damn! Tang Feng disappeared, and Xiaoyan just got up from an open space in the palace complex, with a look of remorse in his eyes. 2 residual pictures, 1 for each person. The next thing may become more complicated. Please remember this book's first domain name. Mobile version reading website.